Assalamualaikum guys, my name is Mahir and I welcome you all to my channel. I hope you are doing well and enjoying your summer breaks. Today I am going to discuss the topic of static electricity in O-level physics. Although I know that you are done with the May June 2026 session, but this video may be helpful for your younger siblings if they are intending to appear in the upcoming sessions like October November 2026 or May June 2027. This is one of the minute topics in section for electricity and magnetism in O levels. And first of all, we need to discuss what is charge. अच्छा, सबसे पहले हमें ये पता होना चाहिए करंट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का टॉपिक और स्टैटिक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टॉपिक में फर्क क्या है. देखो, स्टैटिक का मतलब होता है कि समथिंग दैट इज एट रेस्ट. Here we are going to discuss the properties of charges which are at rest. We are not going to discuss the flow of charges, that is current, and the factors affecting current. So first of all, definition of charge. So charge is a fundamental property of matter. It is a fundamental property of matter just like mass. जिस तरह हर स्टेट ऑफ मैटर, चाहे वो सॉलिड हो, लिक्विड हो, गैस हो, उसका मास होता है, इसी तरह उसका चार्ज भी होता है. चाहे वो मेटल हो जिसपे स्पेसिफिक चार्ज एक्यूमुलेट हुआ होता है लाइक पॉजिटिव, या नॉन मेटल हो जिसपे नेगेटिव होते हैं, या वो न्यूट्रल बॉडी हो जिसपे इक्वल क्वांटिटी में चार्जेस होते हैं. ये फंडामेंटल प्रॉपर्टी है जो हमेशा एग्जिस्ट करती है. If we discuss about unit of charge, ऐसा unit of charge, so ऐसा unit of charge is coulombs, which is capital C, and there are two types of charges. The first type of charge is positive and the second type of charge is negative. Positive charge is carried by protons and negative charge is carried by electrons. Now both proton and electron carry a specific magnitude of charge. In chemistry, in the topic of atomic structure, we have already studied that protons have a relative charge of +1 and electrons have a relative charge of -1. But that's not the actual charge. It's relative or rounded off charge that is assumed just for the sake of simplicity. But in actual, protons carry a charge of +1.6 exponent -19 coulombs, whereas electrons carry a charge of -1.6 exponent -19 coulombs. Now, since both of these charges are equal and opposite, they come from atoms. Hence, atom is a neutral body since it has equal number of protons and electrons with opposite charges. This cancels out each other, hence there is no net charge on an atom. This doesn't mean that atom does not carry a charge. It carries both protons and electrons, but in equal magnitude with opposite charge. Hence it is a neutral body. But if an atom loses electrons, it has an excess of positive charges and it becomes a cation. That is a positively charged anion. This is part of your chemistry syllabus of chemical bonding. And when an atom gains electrons, that is a non-metal, it has a negative charge, excess of negative charges, and the charges are not being cancelled out equally. Hence, it become an anion. That is a negative ion. Secondly, we can say that there are two types of materials. The first kind of material is uh, insulators, and the second kind of materials are conductors. Insulators are those that does not conduct electricity, or you can say does not allow the current to pass through them, because they do not have mobile, or you can say delocalized electrons, that can freely move throughout the structure of the material to conduct electricity, or in order for the electricity to be conducted. The examples of insulators include all nonmetals that we can observe or use in our daily life. For example, plastic, wood, cloth, rubber, because they do not have free electrons. The second type of materials are conductors. Conductors are those that conduct electricity, or you can say they allow the electricity to pass through it, or current to pass through it, because they have mobile, free or delocalized electrons that can freely move throughout the structure in order for the electricity to be conducted. The examples of conductor include all non-metals that have been discovered till now, and a specific all metals that have been discovered till now, and a specific non-metal, that is carbon graphite, because they have free electrons due to their specific type of structure, that is hexagonal layer of arrangement. Now, if we want to charge material so that a specific charge of electrons or protons accumulates on them, we use the method of charging by friction. That is only applicable for insulators or non-metals. Metals can also be charged by the means of electrostatic induction, but that is not in our syllabus. So we only need to discuss charging by friction. It states that when two materials are rubbed against each other, for example, a plastic rod and a polythene rod and a cloth, electrostatic charges build on them. By the means of transfer of electrons. Why only transfer of electrons? Because only electrons are dynamic in nature and revolve in shells and can flow. Whereas protons, which have positive charges, are static and are constant at nucleus. The body which has its electrons loosely bonded will lose them, whereas the body which has its electrons tightly bonded will gain other electrons. Now you don't have to remember in exam that which body loses or which body gains electrons in exam, particularly in MCQs. Examiner tells you about one body and asks you about another body. So you just have to use your knowledge, prior knowledge, for transfer of electrons. This can also be experimentally proven that when a rod is rubbed against a cloth, they both will attract each other, which means they have gained opposite charges by either losing or gaining electrons. There are a real life example of charging by friction is evident when a car is being driven at high speed. Air resistance, the contact of air particles with the car body, metal body, can cause electrostatic charges to build on the car. And then when a person touching the car by standing on ground, a discharge can occur and he can get a minor shock. Now we have to discuss about electric fields. It's a region of space around a charged object where another charged object experiences forces of attraction and repulsion. Now, attraction is possible if opposite charges are facing each other. Since opposite charges attract each other and like charges repel each other, this is stated by the law of electrostatics. And they face repulsion when like charges face each other. Or negative and negative. Okay. An important point regarding electric field is that electric field is stronger where, just wait a second, I'll be back right now. Where field lines are closer, lines that are represented by arrows are closer and weaker where they are far apart. The field lines, while drawing field lines specifically in paper 2 or paper 4, you should make sure that field lines must not intersect each other. And they must be ready, and they must be perpendicular to the charge. Now, entire technical thing here is that how do we mark the direction of field lines? So remember the fact that whenever we are marking the field lines, you should make sure that field lines are out of the positive charge and into the negative charge. I repeat again, they should be out of the positive charge and into the negative charge because their direction is same as the direction of force experienced by a positive charge. That is repulsive out of the positive charge and attractive towards the negative charge. Let us draw some diagrams of field lines. Let's say this is a point positive charge. So field lines must look like this. They must be radial or perpendicular to the charge. And they should be drawn like that, that they are seen to be coming out of the positive charge, out of the radius. Similarly, between two charged electric plates, where one is positively charged and one is negatively charged, field lines are parallel to each other and perpendicular to the plates. They seems to be coming out of the positive and into the negative. Since the direction of field lines is same as the direction of force experienced by a positive charge, out of the positive charge and into the negative charge. Similarly, between two, one positive and one negative charge, they are like this. Out of the positive like this, and between two same charges, let's say positive or negative, they are like this. Now the final topic is, after this topic will be ended. Experiment to differentiate between electrical conductors and insulators. Let's say you are given with two unknown materials and you have to identify by the means of an experiment that which one is a conductor and which one is an insulator. Conductor will be one which can allow the electricity to pass through it, and insulator will be one which doesn't allow the electricity to pass through it. So we will arrange the apparatus as shown in the circuit with a battery connected, an open switch, and a lamp. The circuit is open, is not completed between points X and Y. So we will connect our material between points X and Y with the switch open. The circuit will be completed. Switch on the, close the switch, close the switch, and notice the following. You have to notice if the bulb lights, the material is a conductor, and if the bulb does not light, despite the switch being closed and the circuit being completed, the material is an insulator. That's it from my side. Till then, take care. Enjoy your summer breaks. Allah Hafiz.